Welcome to Traveling with a Service Dog Part 2. If you missed Part 1, it's going to be right here. In between posting Part 1 and filming this one, I decided that this is best done in 3 videos instead of just 2. So Part 2 today is going to be our main packing list for Buddy. And next week, Part 3 will be our grooming and grooming packing list. We were living in an RV, so we couldn't give him regular baths, but he's also a service dog, so he has to maintain his nice, clean appearance and not be leaving messes in the public places where we go. So that will be next week. This one is going to be all about stuff. Let's jump right in. As always, take what you like and leave what you don't. Not all of this stuff is going to be relevant for everyone's travel situation. Obviously, if you're flying, you're not going to want to bring your ceramic bowls, but if you are doing a trip like mine, where you're in an RV, maybe you will. So I'm going to tell you guys what we did based on our road trip, and you tailor it to your needs. If your dog is a service dog, you're going to need their gear, whatever that looks like for you. I did do a service dog gear haul where I showed you Buddy's harnesses and leashes and couple other things, so check out the gear haul video if you want to see what we work Buddy in. You are obviously going to need to pack everything that you and your dog usually use when you're working. Food and water bowls. We used our normal ones because we were living in the RV, but if you are doing traveling where you're not bringing like your whole house with you, you can also use a collapsible. Collapsibles are very, very cheap and they pop out like an accordion. So they store flat. They're really great for travel if you have limited space. I love this collapsible in particular because it is small and lightweight enough that it can fit in Buddy's Doggy Backpack, but it also has a hole for a carabiner. So if I want to clip it onto his harness or his backpack, that's an option. Or I can even clip it onto my own backpack or the treat pouch on my hip. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but I will link all of this stuff below so that you guys can find it easily. You're going to need to pack food to put into those food bowls. Make sure that you're packing the exact same brand and flavor that your dog usually has at home, because with so much going on, so much changing, it's best not to change their food. We had a really long-term trip, so we put all of Buddy's food into a big bin that had a scoop inside it. If you're packing just enough for your trip, make sure that you pack a little bit extra. Because if there's somehow some kind of measuring error, it's much better to have a little bit extra food than to have a little bit too little. For courtesy, when you're staying in a hotel, it might be nice to have a rubber mat to put your dog's food and water bowls in. It does kind of depend on your dog and how messy they are, but mine's got big drooly lips, so this came in handy. Most of the time in hotels, you can get away with just putting your dog's food and water bowls in the bathroom on the tile, because the tile is really easy to just wipe up before you go. But sometimes the bathroom is going to be very small and there won't be room for the food and water bowls, or sometimes it's nice to just have your dog's stuff out in the room with you. So this will protect the carpet and make sure that you don't incur any damage fees or leave any nasty doggy smells. If you're going to be having day trips like a hike or museums or Disneyland, you're going to need a separate water bottle for your pup to store and carry water throughout the day. I don't have one like this that I can show you, but I do know that they make really nice ones where it's a bottle and it has a cup that sits on the bottom. It'll clip into place so that you have a doggy water bowl attached to the doggy water bottle. You can pour it in and let the dog drink out of it. So that's a really great option, but either way, you definitely need a water bottle full of water for your dog if you're going to have day trips. We always just used a spare water bottle with one of those collapsibles. Potty Bells. You guys know I love Potty Bells, and honestly, during travel, a total necessity, because the dog doesn't know what the heck door to go to tell you that they need to pee. So having something like bells that they're used to and that they always use no matter where they are is really, really handy. I know I talked about these a little bit more at length in part 1, so I'll leave it there. Dog bed, so doggy can feel comfortable no matter where you guys are, but that's usually very bulky, so what I recommend instead is dog blanket. This is a blanket that is always on Buddy's bed, so to him, this blanket is bed. I'm hoping that it helps him feel more at home no matter where we are. Poop bags. Lots of poop bags. You'll want a treat pouch if you use one. When I work with Buddy, I don't usually have a treat pouch. We usually only use it when we are doing training, like specifically on a training outing. But when we were traveling, a lot of it turned into training outings, so I used the treat pouch a lot more than usual. It's also a really great way to hold on to things because usually there's a pouch, there's another pouch here, and there's another pouch on the back for poop bags, and I also keep a chapstick in there. So it ended up being a nice like purse substitute if we were on hikes. But yeah, treat pouch. While we're on the topic of treat pouch, let's talk about treats. I prefer to always use single ingredient treats for Buddy. His absolute favorite ones are the dried lung that I used in the Service Dog Leave It Challenge, but we also have another brand that makes little tiny training treats, which are great to fill the treat pouch with for doing quick rewards while we're training. And I also found these beef ribs on Amazon. I love these because they are free-range grass-fed cattle, no chemicals, no additives, no preservatives, and they make it in a human-grade food facility. Long-term chews are really great for your dog. They're a lot of fun. They're good for their dental health, and they taste really good. I think that's it. So that's the 3 kinds of treats that I recommend having. One that's just treats for fun, one that's great for rapid rewarding, and one that's a longer-term chew / dental stick. Maybe 2 separate ones for that. Maybe you can combine them like I did here. I will link all of those below too. I'll link all of this, but I know I was kind of vague on that. This is his doggy backpack, and these are his little doggy shoes. We were really happy with both of them. One thing to keep in mind, if you do have a doggy backpack, it has to stay really lightweight for the dog. Talk to your veterinarian about what weight limit is acceptable for your dog. And one more thing on the backpack, I was told it's best to keep the 2 sides as evenly weighted as possible so that it doesn't cause any asymmetry for your dog. We also got these shoes. We didn't have any problems with blistering or Buddy having discomfort with them. He seemed to really enjoy these shoes. The rule that I was taught for doggy shoes is to put the back of your hand onto the pavement or the ground, and if it's too hot for your hand to hold on there for, I've heard anywhere from 3 to 15 seconds to 2 minutes. I don't know what the actual best rule is, but if it's too hot for the back of your hand, then your dog should be wearing shoes. This isn't just for travel. This is for always. All my sentences are just trailing off at the end. Also, weather-related stuff. There are cooling vests that you can get for your dog if your dog tends to run hot. Or, of course, always an option to get your dog a sweater if you're going to be somewhere where it's cold. We never put a sweater on Buddy even in the snow because he never seems cold and he likes to lay and roll in the snow. But my dog growing up definitely needed a sweater, so pay attention to your dog, pay attention to their body language, and you should be able to tell whether or not they're cold. I hope that your dog is on a monthly flea tick heartworm preventative. You're going to need to bring those if their dose schedule requires that they take it while they're on the trip. So we have Buddy on HeartGuard. I can't show you the front of this one because it has our address on it and stuff, but this one is for heartworm disease and hookworm. We also have Buddy on NexGard. NexGard is specifically for fleas and ticks. So he takes the combination. That's something that you have to get prescribed through your veterinarian, and again, I really hope that your dog is already on something like that. But don't forget to bring it if you're going to need it while you're gone. For most dogs, it'll just be those monthly preventatives, but if your dog is on a daily medication, of course pack that. And just like with food, I do recommend packing extra. I didn't bring Buddy's leashes up here to show you during this video because they're pretty self-explanatory. A couple of them I showed you in the gear haul video, but I do recommend a couple of different lengths. Different length leashes are convenient for different situations, so the ones that we usually use for Buddy are a 1-foot leash, a hands-free over-the-shoulder leash, and then a standard 6-foot going for a walk leash. Gotta be careful with that word. Okay, he's asleep. For traveling, I also recommend a super long line or a cable so that your dog can get energy out without needing to be off-leash because you're not always going to be able to find an off-leash area. The hands-free over-the-shoulder leash is wonderful. You guys got to see it in action during this video, which was brain. Oh, walking my service dog on duty versus off duty. That's the hands-free leash that we always work in. The leash that we use when we take him around the block in the neighborhood is kind of cool. You know what? I should go grab it. I love this leash. Let me get it for you. Okay. Trying not to hit the dog here. Do these stripes make me look pregnant? Okay, this leash, totally worth going and getting it for you because this is the best leash I've ever used in my life. Out of breath. I went all the way downstairs for this, guys. Okay, this leash is awesome. I believe it's a 6 foot. This is the brand and I bought it on Amazon. What I love about this leash, it's like double layered, so it is super, super strong. Stop it. It's got a nice squishy handle, so it's really comfortable to hold on to. It has a D-ring for your poop bags. And about 1.5 feet up from the clasp, it has another little loop so that you have a 1.5 foot leash on your dog at the same time. When we're doing the thing around the block, he's right here so I can't say the words, but you know, when we're doing the thing around the block, sometimes he'll sniff behind me, but sometimes he'll be in a heel, and having this little extra handle is really helpful. Then the leash isn't dragging and I'm able to have better control over the dog. This part is also padded. It's fantastic. The whole thing is really high quality. We've had it for years. It's working really well for us. And I'll probably never go back to anything else. Toys! Pup definitely needs toys. In our family, there are 3 types of must-have toys for the dog. First, a rope. He loves tug of war. Second, a ball. He loves to play fetch. Fetch is a huge energy release for a dog, and it's also structured play, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of. And third, some kind of plush or something with crinkles in it. Buddy loves to rip toys up and destroy them, chew them, squeak them, like your standard stereotype dog toy. Necessity. The end. That's our packing list. I sure hope I didn't forget anything. It was a lot to try to remember retroactively. If there's anything big that you think that I forgot, please drop it in the comments down below. I'll see you guys for part 3 next week. That should be the final part in this Traveling with the Service Dog series. Part 3 is going to be more stuff to pack, but also some tips, and it's going to be all about grooming and shedding control. Buddy is a big dog with long fur, lots of it, so he sheds a lot. He got really dirty on this trip, and he wasn't able to get baths regularly. So for part 3, I'm going to tell you what products we used and how we used them in order to keep him clean while we were traveling in very dirty places and living in an RV. Keep an eye out for that video next Friday, and if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so that you get notified the minute it's posted. Can't wait to see you guys again next week.